Welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by helping us lock up some of the bad guys. We're the good guys, hopefully. I'm Chris Wright, your host, along with Sheriff Larry Amerson. Good to see you, Sheriff.
Good to be here, Chris. Hope you're having a good day. It looks like our folks in the county have had a great week. I want to congratulate everybody for their hard work.
Yeah, the viewers of this show are the real good guys helping us do the job.
Yeah, 8 arrests. Wow, y'all have really done a good week's work. Look at that number, 3,490 people located or arrested thanks to the people of Calhoun County.
10 away from hitting that 3,500 mark. Wow, that's just absolutely amazing. All right. Well, let's talk about another good guy that's not with us today, but we see him on the show on a regular basis. Of course, you see him every day. Chief Deputy Matthew Wade, who is off getting some training right now.
He is being able to attend a training class. It's the first ever Homeland Security leadership training put on in partnership with the National Sheriff's Association and the folks from FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. It's in Glencoe, Georgia, over on the Georgia coast. And being picked from the law enforcement leadership around the nation is a great honor for him, and the quality of this training is, everything he tells me is amazing and high quality, and he's going to come back better equipped.
It's always great when your people get some extra training and bring that knowledge back in. I'm sure he'll be sharing that with the rest of the Sheriff's Office.
He is, and I've been getting lots of texts and emails of various resources that he's found out about. So he's doing some good stuff for us, and this is going to even make him better prepared for carrying out his duties.
And of course, Homeland Security is a big deal in Calhoun County.
It is, and the executive leadership in law enforcement, that really matters, that we can do the planning, we can do the preparation, dealing with the potential problems that may come up connected to terrorism or any other Homeland Security issue.
All right, well, Matthew, keep up the good work, and we're looking forward to hearing the great information that you bring back to Calhoun County. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Your word is rigmarole.
Can you define it?
A long, complicated, and annoying process.
Can you use it in a sentence?
The last time I tried to buy a car, I just got a big load of rigmarole.
Well, you should have gone to Jacksonville Auto Sales.
Jacksonville Auto Sales across from Walmart in Jacksonville, or find us on the web at jascars.com. Remember, Jacksonville Auto Sales, home of the no rigmarole deal.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a rich, like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost. But now I am
sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston Stroud with Family Links, and this is the Family Tip of the Week. We constantly discuss poor communication within family units and whether or not our children fully understand what we're trying to say to them. If you're repeatedly having to say the same thing to your children and it seems as if nothing is changing, have you attempted to assess the possible breakdown in communication? Recently, I had to have a heart-to-heart conversation with my son. I realized that we were talking about the same thing that we've been talking about for a long while, his behavior in school. I stopped to think about the words that I was using in our conversation and asked him if he fully knew the meaning of some of those words, like embarrassment, disappointment, expectations, values. I learned that he had a different definition of those words, and that might possibly be the breakdown in our communication. I provided him with several examples of what those words meant and how it was relevant to our situation. For example, I explained that if I visited his school in hair rollers and a house coat and sat in his classroom and kissed all over him, that he would have a certain feeling about it. He said, "Yeah, Mama, that would be embarrassing. Don't do that." I then explained that when I get calls from the school during my workday regarding his behavior in school, it is embarrassing for me as a parent because I know that he can perform better. He said he then understood. He was able to then identify with my words and pair a feeling with them. I realized that for some time we've been speaking two different languages, almost like I've been speaking Chinese while he's been speaking French under one roof. I realized that it's going to take a bit of practice to stop preaching at our kids and start teaching and listening while we communicate. But that's the entire point. Communicating is as much about effective listening as it is about effective talking. Remember, we have to change the way we talk to our kids so they not only understand what we're trying to say, but actually want to listen and improve. For more tips, contact Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up in our lineup this week, Philip Mason. Mr. Mason, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for bond revocation on possession and receipt of a controlled substance. And meet Peter Boyani. Mr. Boyani, last known to be living in Ohatchee. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana second. And this is Torricus Martin. Mr. Martin, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on probation violation of theft of property second. And we'd like you to meet Donna Lawson. Miss Lawson, last known to be living in Jacksonville. She's wanted for failure to appear on attempted illegal possession of a credit card. And take a look at James Burleson. Mr. Burleson, last known to be living in Talladega. He's wanted for failure to appear on domestic violence second, possession and receipt of a controlled substance, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And this is Thomas Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for probation violation on possession of marijuana first. And last up for the first half of our lineup, Joshua Wirtz. Mr. Wirtz, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for probation revocation on unlawful manufacture of a controlled substance. And that's it for the first half of the lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
Plenty more bad guys to talk about in just a few minutes, but Sheriff, now it's time to welcome on a guest to the show. We always get some great information during the guest segments.
Yep, this is a lot of fun. We do our hard work catching criminals, but then we learn great things about our community.
And Gloria Johnson is joining us from Regional Medical Center. Good to see you, Gloria.
Good to see you.
And Katina, I know you're very familiar with the fact that right now is it's Suicide Prevention Month.
Yes. Yes.
Working with families, I'm sure you've worked with many families where this has become an issue where they never dreamed it would be.
Absolutely. I have some very close personal experiences, not with my own family, but with friends who've had this tragedy to affect their life. But Family Links, we also try to discuss this topic with our kids that are in the Success Academy, and also any parenting groups that we have going on around this time. We try to include information about this particular topic.
Gloria, it's something that we all know is out there.
Yes.
We all know it's a significant problem,
Yes.
especially with our young people. But we don't talk about it very much. So if there's one thing, if we can only get people to understand one thing about suicide, what would that be?
Get help. Get help. When you start realizing, or if you know someone that is in trouble, see the signs, get help. There is help available out there to people and family members that are seeing someone that is suffering with depression.
That's an important, you're not just saying get help to the people who are at risk themselves. You're saying get real help to the people who see those signs.
Yes.
You can help them some, but probably the best thing you can do is connect them with somebody who really understands.
Exactly, exactly. Psychotherapy is a wonderful way to talk about it, to disclose it, to open it up. There's help available at Regional Medical Center. We have 2 units. We have NAMI in Jacksonville to help to get information and pamphlets, and I brought one. Sometimes you just hang pamphlets around for people to pick up and to read and to be aware. It goes a long way. Sometimes people are not comfortable talking about it, but if you have the material and the resources there available, they can, you know, have it at their disposal to use when they need it.
Yeah, most of us know somebody that has a lot of drama in their life, and we see some of the things that they post on Facebook or that they talk about when you're around them, and we think to ourselves, boy, they just really are grabbing for that attention. And then there are people that are trying to get a little bit of attention and they really, really need it, and maybe those people who are after it all the time need it as well. How do we juggle that? Because we can't always give everybody all the attention they're asking for.
Well, you're right. We can't always give everybody the attention that they need to, you know, whenever they need to all the times, because it can overwhelm the person that's trying to help. But what happens when you have somebody that's have a mental illness and they're suffering with it, there are key signs and symptoms you need to look for to be aware. Social media is a wonderful site. It has a wonderful social things for people to be able to post, to connect, but also can be a very visible tool to be able to recognize things that you know that's not quite right, things that are said on there that shouldn't be said. Those things can be brought alert, can be brought attention to, and those are what you need to pay attention to help that person seek some help or be aware that there's something going on that shouldn't be.
Sheriff, I know you get put in the middle of this on a regular basis, and it's not always easy to know the right thing to do. I've got a friend from high school that posted some things on Facebook that were very clear signs that he might be at danger of harming himself. Somebody actually alerted the police where he lived. Police cars came in, and he was very upset with everyone for a long time because he did not want that intrusion in his life. And it was a big intrusion in his life, the way it was handled, at least in that instance. How do we know when to make that emergency call?
Well, I would say first, make it. We'll try to deal with the consequences later. Second, each community has resources, so talking to those professionals where there is services, your local hospital, your mental health center. We're, of course, very lucky in Calhoun County to have a mental health officer who works with folks so we can approach it. But I would say this, you're better off trying than to not do anything and later regret it and say, why didn't I try? If you know you did everything you could, better than the other.
Absolutely, and relationships can be harmed either way. But what's the bigger loss? So, Gloria, would you say calling 911 is the appropriate first action most of the time, or is there a better way to handle it most of the time?
Well, if you find someone in distress and you think that they need help or assistance, or if you you feel like you're not at your best and you need to seek some, 911, I would say, would get you the most quick response, where you're brought into the hospital, you'll be evaluated, assessed, and treated. If you have a family member sometimes that's unwilling, you might be able to, you know, contact John Garlic and see if he can come out. If things are not right, if you think things are going on, maybe contact their primary physician, talk to him. There are ways to get them help if they won't. Now, sometimes it can be a little difficult because they're not motivated, but there are ways to get it done so that they can get the help that they need. Okay.
We need to take a break, but we want to talk more about this. We are going to be back in just a few moments with the second half of this week's lineup and more about Suicide Prevention Month here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch
like me.
I once was.
Homeless.
Broken. Sad.
just lost.
But now I am
Sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Your word is rigmarole.
Can you define it?
A long, complicated, and annoying process.
Can you use it in a sentence?
The last time I tried to buy a car, I just got a big load of rigmarole.
Well, you should have gone to Jacksonville Auto Sales.
Jacksonville Auto Sales across from Walmart in Jacksonville, or find us on the web at jascars.com. Remember, Jacksonville Auto Sales, home of the no rigmarole deal.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Joseph Warren. Mr. Warren, last known to be living in Jacksonville. He's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property second. And take a look at Leslie Tucker. Mr. Tucker, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on certain person forbidden to possess a pistol and public intoxication. And this is James Irvin. Mr. Irvin, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on writing a lot of bad checks. And take a look, if you would, at Thomas Dodson. Mr. Dodson, last known to be living in Jacksonville. He's also wanted for failure to appear on writing multiple bad checks. And this is Bobby Beck. Mr. Beck, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on making terroristic threats and impersonating a police officer. And this is Tanera Lee. Miss Lee, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a forged instrument second. And last up in our lineup this week, Timothy Green. Mr. Green, last known to be living in Oxford. He's wanted on probation violation of theft of property second and obstruction of justice by giving a false ID. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you know the whereabouts of any of these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-238-1414.
All right, we'll have more crime fighting for you here in just a few minutes. The Crime Stoppers segment of the show is coming up. We'll talk about some property crimes that hopefully you may have a piece of information to help us with. Sheriff, we've been talking about Suicide Prevention Month, and you brought up a point off the air a few moments ago. It's people think, okay, I just want it to be over. Suicide, it's not over. It may be over for you, but for your family and friends, it lasts for generations.
It does, Chris, and we see that, and folks become high risk for suicide because someone in their family made that choice, and it has ramifications for your children and grandchildren, and folks, we want them to understand that it's a big problem, not just for yourself, but those who come after you.
All right, and Gloria, I showed my ignorance a few moments ago. I said especially with the young people, and certainly we want to watch out for our young people. Teenage years are a dangerous time for lots of different reasons. But you were telling me that the real people who are at risk the most these days are our senior citizens?
Well, right now, you know, the rate of suicide are highest among the white males over the age of 85. And what that attributes to is because they usually use the weapons that they have, the guns in the home. So, you know, children are kind of apprehensive to go to their parents and say what's going on, or why are you doing this, or why is this happening. They're a little apprehensive, so they tend to kind of let mom and dad kind of do what they normally do, but then they're in trouble and they don't really know how to secure the weapons or how to contact somebody about the weapons. So it's kind of like they're not really sure what to do. And then what ends up is mom and dad, the golden years, you know, haven't been so golden, and they end up in trouble, and the children children are not really sure on how to deal with that because they're the children. But it's very real, it's very prevalent, but there's help out there. There's help out there for them to deal with whatever issues they're going through. A lot of times their physical limitations has, made it so they become more depressed because they're not physically able to do those things they used to. And it takes a toll on them mentally and physically. Families have got to be aware. We've got to pay attention. Mom and dad have been living alone. They've been doing their thing, but sometimes we have to stop what we're doing and take notice of things that's going on with them. Be alert.
The white males over 85, the most at risk.
One of the highest ones that are at risk to commit suicide.
Katina, we were talking earlier also about social media, and I know that's something you talk a lot about with Family Links.
Yes, you mentioned a friend who put something out on social media about how he was feeling, and it caused emergency management or emergency to come to his home to check on him. And so we talked to our kids and our families about the responsibility that comes with social media. I think that because social media is such a big thing now, the Twitters, the Facebook, you can post almost anything, but when you're deciding to post pictures or post your feelings or talk about not feeling so happy, there's a responsibility that comes with it. And so when the sheriff responds, or when someone from 911 responds to your feelings that you've put out on social media, they're just doing their job. The responsibility lies on you. I think it's a good thing that they have that avenue to vent, and because sometimes that's the only place that someone's going to say, this is how I'm feeling. But if you're angry when someone responds, you put it out there.
When you're crying out for help,
yes.
Don't be upset when the help arrives.
Absolutely, right. Yeah. So there's a responsibility that comes when we decide to post everything, on a social media network.
All right, Gloria, getting back to what you've said at the very beginning and throughout, get help.
Get help.
So what are the ways for people to get help in Calhoun County?
In Calhoun County, we're very fortunate because we do have several avenues to be able to get help. We have a local mental health center. We have the regional medical center has the geriatric psych units as well as the adult RPS psychiatric units. We also have communities. We have community-based prevention centers, one of them, and information resources, which is NAMI, of course, that we have information available to them. And of course, we have John Garlick as our mental health officer. So, then there's 1-800, suicide prevention hotlines. The VA has a suicide prevention hotlines. We have several resources to be able to be available if somebody is in need of help, that they can just pick up the phone and contact someone. And be connected. A
lot of different sources. Sometimes it's easier if there was only one. It makes it a little bit less confusing trying to figure out, okay, who should I call? If somebody doesn't know, well, which one applies to me the best?
If they're in dire distress, just pick up the phone and call 911.
I agree, and the thing is, all of us need to stay aware. If we see somebody who is having problems, find out ahead of time before it's that crisis. And as you said, when mom and dad, if they're having problems or struggling, it's important to be paying attention and talk to them.
Yeah, don't wait until the last minute. See the signs, recognize it, do a little bit of research, go on the internet, find out, or talk to a friend, or talk to somebody at the hospital or somewhere, and then just have an idea of where to be going and what the situation is. All right. Well, Gloria, thank you very much. I know this is a fun work, but we appreciate you doing it.
Thank you.
All right. We will be back in just a few moments with the Crime Stoppers segment and our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Your word is rigmarole.
Can you define it?
A long, complicated, and annoying process.
Can you use it in a sentence?
The last time I tried to buy a car, I just got a big load of rigmarole.
Well, you should have gone to Jacksonville Auto Sales.
Jacksonville Auto Sales across from Walmart in Jacksonville, or find us on the web at jascars.com. Remember, Jacksonville Auto Sales, home of the no rigmarole deal.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
Just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to put on your deer stalkers and help our investigators with these cases. First up, between September 13th and September 14th, a John Deere zero-turn lawn tractor was stolen from this residence on New Liberty Road in Jacksonville. And sometime on September 14th, this storage shed located on Fish Hatchery Road in East Boca was broken into. They got away with assorted power tools. And on September 16th, this residence on Lincoln Street in Hobson City was broken into. They got away with a Sony PlayStation 4 and a ring. Sometime between September 15th and September 17th, this storage shed located on Alabama Highway 9 in Anniston was broken into. They got away with a tiller and a ceramic maker. And sometime on September 18th, this residence on Thompson Road in Ohatchee was broken into. Electronics, jewelries, and firearms were stolen from that location. And last up on your caseload this week, between September 18th and September 19th, this residence on Gilbert's Ferry Road in Ohatchee was broken into. They got away with a firearm and jewelry. And that's it on your caseload this week. If you know anything about these cases, and we hope you do, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, our crazy criminal of the week, Sheriff. Lady, I guess the crime she would be guilty of, maybe a few of them, but child endangerment's got to be one of them. She's driving down the road, 35-year-old woman, got her 9-year-old son in the backseat of the car. There's another passenger in the car she wasn't aware of, a spider. She sees the spider and jumps out of the moving car to get away from the spider.
Well, that's wrong on so many levels.
It is. Now, I understand. I don't like spiders either, but you stop the car first. The 9-year-old got out of the back seat into the front seat and attempted to stop the vehicle himself. Unfortunately, he's 9 years old. Instead of hitting the brake, he hits the gas. Car collides with a school bus, which fortunately only had the driver on it, and bus driver's okay. The kid had some minor injuries. I'm not sure about the mom, but I'm sure she probably died of embarrassment.
Hopefully, hey, not died. Hopefully has a lot of embarrassment. Goodness. But like I said, that's wrong on so many levels. You endangered your child, you endangered others, and you endangered yourself jumping out of a moving car.
The only person that wasn't hurt at all probably is the spider. The spider came through it without a scratch, I'm sure.
A great lesson on what not to do.
Absolutely. All right. Hopefully you won't be in that situation, although I have been in there with a wasp before, and I won't claim to have been in full control of the vehicle. Okay. Just being honest. All right. That's all the time that we have for this week. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.